Guys, I'm going to quickly show you how to use Google Draw, and in the process we're going to be drawing a Google bot. So hopefully we get this done in a short amount of time. So first thing, obviously you can see I'm using Google Chrome browser, and I have my Google Drive open already. You can see over here. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to open up Google Drawing. I'm going to go up to the top left corner and select New. And then I'm going to come down and I'm going to find Google Drawing. You'll see that it's not one of my front page ones, so I have to go to More. And I'm going to go to Google Drawings. There you go. Now to open up a Google Drawing canvas here for me. And what I'm going to do first, I'm just going to title this. I'm going to call this Google Bot. And I'll say example. All right, cool. Now I have it titled. First thing you probably recognize is my canvas right now. And it is transparent right now. So I'm going to fill this in with a background. Backgrounds are real easy to do. And again, guys, there are many different ways you could do these things. I'm going to typically show you the easiest way I find it to do, which I'm sure you'll discover other ways as you proceed through too. So the first thing to do, I'm going to right click on this canvas and I'm going to go to background. And you'll see that I have many different background styles. So maybe I'll just use a plain gray here today. If you click on background, you could even see that you had custom ones. You could even fill them in with some transparency or whatever it might be. You choose what's best for you. Now you'll see that my canvas here, this is what they give me, but you could always increase the size by coming down here to the bottom right corner. You could drag it out if needed, or you could always bring it back. You could also have done that by going to File and Page Layout. So here with my my canvas all set and ready for my drawing, I'm going to grab an image of a Google bot from Google Images. I'm going to open up a new tab, and you'll notice that it takes me right to Google. That's my default, and I'm going to select Images. Once I'm here on Google Images, I'm just going to search for a Google bot, B-O-T. There we go, and you'll see that I have numerous styles of Google bot. This is pretty much the standard Google bot. But you'll see there's other ones. You have more like the robotic type thing, or you could have the spider. You draw that one, or any one of these in between. Totally up to you, whatever's best for you and what you desire to draw. Remember, guys, these are just some basic skills that we're going to teach you so that you can utilize these in your classroom. What I'm going to do here first, I'm going to grab this one. So I'm going to right click on it, and I'm going to copy this image. And I'm going to come back up here to my Google Drawing tab. And I'm going to paste that image. So I'm going to right click and I'm going to go to paste. You'll notice it places it right on our canvas. What I'm going to do, I'm just going to click and drag it off the canvas here. Not a big deal. I'm going to try to replicate this. Again, it's not going to be exact. I want you to use a little bit of your own creativity too with this. The first thing I'm going to recognize here, or that I recognize, I should say, is his face. And the face, I'm going to say, it looks more like a trapezoid to me rather than a rectangle. If you have a little bit of hard time with a trapezoid, again, you can use a rectangle. So in Google Drawing, you're going to notice we have a toolbar right through here. So I'm going to be using my shapes, which is this button here. And I'm just going to select shapes. And I'm going to find my trapezoid, which is right here. Okay. So I'm going to click and I'm going to pull out a trapezoid, probably about that size. We'll go from there. Now, first thing you're probably going to notice, when I look at this image over here, the taller side is on the left, the shorter side is on the right. On mine, I'm going to notice I'm going to have to rotate this 90 degrees, and it looks like it's got to go clockwise. So I could do this one of many ways. I could go to long way, since it is active. Notice in these squares, it is active. I could go to arrange, and I could go to rotate, and I could rotate it clockwise 90 degrees. If I don't like to do that way, I could right click on it and I could go to rotate and I could rotate clockwise 90 degrees again. Or this little circle there is called free rotate. When you start free rotating, you can see you could get very specific angles that you would need or want. I'll just bring it there to 90. Pretty easy. Now it's not quite what I want, so you see this little yellow diamond. You're going to get this on some of the shapes, not all of them. But you can alter the angles that they are on. I'm going to click and drag that up a little bit. There we go. This isn't so bad now. Again, it's not going to be perfect, but you can figure it out to get the best look that you want or desire. Okay. The next thing I noticed, it's like a three-dimensional look, so I'm going to put this angle or this second trapezoid here. Go up here to shapes again. I'm going to grab another trapezoid. I'm just going to click and drag out another trapezoid. Now this one you're going to notice I'm going to need to flip counterclockwise. So I'm just going to rotate it. And this one I'm going to go counterclockwise. And again, this is probably not going to be exactly, well, that one did fit me pretty easy. So you guys can see that I slid it right into place. I got lucky. But if it doesn't fit, let's say if it came in like this, I could always move it down by using my arrow keys, which I could fit it in. And if you don't like to do it that way and you need something very specific, you could always use a tool called, sorry about that, you could always use a tool called nudge. A nudge is going to be your shift key and your down arrow. And that'll nudge it right into place there. You can see that should fit nice and evenly. I'm going to pause here for a second and close the window. Right, now that we have the window closed, hopefully it's not so loud for us. We're going to continue here. I just want to go over a few other shapes here and some other ideas. I'm going to place some eyes on here because I think that's the next prominent thing here. Go up here to shapes. And you can choose any style you like, but I'm going to choose an oval. It's going to create one eye here. And it looks good for me. Again, you don't have to have a perfect circle. You could design it how you like. Since my circle or my oval is active, I'm going to fill it in with some color. Again, you choose what colors you want. So maybe I'll make the first one blue. And you can see what it looks like. And maybe I'm going to change the exterior look of that eye. So I'm going to make it like a white exterior, which looks a little bit cooler. And notice it doesn't stand out yet because it's only on 1 pixel, very, very thin. I'm going to bring it up to like 3, make it look a little bit better, maybe even 4. I want it to really stand out. There you go. That's a little bit better. What I'm going to do with this eye now, I'm going to click on it, make it active, and I'm going to copy it. So I'm going to use Control-C to copy and Control-V to paste. Now I'm just going to slide it over here using my arrow keys. And this time I'm going to use, again, my nudge, which is Shift and the arrows to move it up a little bit. And again, it doesn't have to be perfect. You choose how you want to use it. And maybe I'll make this one green or something just to make it look a little bit different. There we go. So I have 2 different eyes. Again, nothing perfect. Next thing, I'm going to throw a smile on here. So I'm going to use something called a line. Something, again, a little bit different. So I'm going to click on here and notice you have lots of different line styles. And as you are proceeding through our shapes and our lines, you should notice that we could use a lot of these tools to build like tutorials for our students. Like, hey, click on this or go to this way. And a lot of directionals, a lot of shapes, things that you can make with like flow charts and things that will help them out with basic tutorials, visual tutorials. And we're going to be looking at a project like that later on. So for my curve of my mouth, I'm going to use a curve. I'm going to click here once. I'm going to click here, and I'm going to bring it up just a little bit. Double click to stop it. You're going to notice that my smile's there. And in order to alter my smile, I'm going to use my arrow key, which is called my select. And I'm going to make it a little bit thicker first off, maybe 4. Maybe I want to change the way the color looks, whatever it might be. Yeah, that looks pretty good for me. Maybe, you know, again, you can choose what you like. So now that I got my smile on there, and I really don't like that, so I'm going to, again, make it look a little bit different. Close enough. I'm going to look to my hair. And again, the reason I'm choosing this feature, because again, it is a different function. And this one, instead of using a shape, or instead of using a whole bunch of triangles, what I'm going to use something called a polyline. Now, the polyline is fantastic because it can make straight lines and it could connect lines. It's excellent. So I'm going to demonstrate the polyline. So I click on my polyline. What I'm going to do, I'm going to start over here. I'm just going to click and I'm going to make the first peak for his hair. And again, it's not going to be exact. Notice I'm not even touching the base of his head or the top of his head. I'm just going to use some crazy looking hair like this. Again, yours can look however you like. I'm going to put one here and I'm going to put one crazy outlier. And then I'm going to bring it to the tip of his head. Now notice I can move this any angle. I'm going to bring it right around the top of his head. Again, you could go down a little bit or however you like. I'm going to bring it down here and I'm going to join them. So it looks pretty cool. At least I think so. I use my arrow again and I'm going to fill it in. What color hair? Maybe some cool looking hair here. And I'll put some points there. And there you go. Now I got some freaky, funky looking hair, which I kind of like. Again, not perfect, but it's what I like. Next thing, I'm going to demonstrate some arms here. And I'm going to use a shape here. I'm going to use an oval again. So I got my oval. I'm going to make one little arm. I'm going to copy it using Control-C. And then a whole bunch of paste by using Control-V as a victory. Now I know that they came in a really nice lineup here for me. So let's say if I just want to keep it this way. Obviously, you could always move it, click on it, move it with your arrows, or you could always click on it and nudge it by using your shift and arrows again. Just a little recap. But what I'm going to do, I'm going to keep this arm just as it is. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to group it so that I can move it all over here all at once instead of moving it one by one. And that's really tough to do. I'm going to click and I'm going to drag a frame around it. Notice when I click and drag a frame, it boxes in all of my shapes together. I can move it around. Well, a better feature is something called group. When I group it, what it'll do, it'll take all these pieces and make it into one piece. Because right now, if I click off and I click, notice they're still separate. But if I click on it, make it all active, and I go to arrange, and I could go to group. Now notice when I click off and click back on, it's all together. Okay. I could then again, Control C to copy it, Control V to paste it. So now I have two sets of arms. I'm going to bring this one over. And again, they're not in place or anything. And I'm going to rotate this one again. So I'm going to right click, rotate it, and I'm going to flip it horizontally. There you go. So you can see how this thing's going to start building. And again, it's not perfect. It's nothing like, a final thing, but just some basic tools that you might be interested in using. So what I'm going to do next here, I just want to show you a few like text tools. Again, this should definitely help you out if you're ever going to build like some type of flow chart or something. Text tools, you obviously have the text box here. I could click up here and you could call this like assignment 1 or assignment, I guess I'd be calling this lesson 2, and I could call Google bot drawing. There we go. Obviously not big enough, so I'm going to pull that box out a little bit. Obviously, you can edit this text as you would need or make it different or whatever needs to be. There you go. You could always fill in the box with a different color. Maybe I want to make it gray. Maybe I'll make the outliner like pink or something, whatever it might be. Again, all these same features should look the same. I want my text to be in the center of this box. I'm going to go back up here, align, and I'm going to choose middle alignment. That'll adjust my text. There you go. Now, I'm going to show you one more feature here, which is called some callouts. So what we have here, we're going to go up here to our shapes and look at some callouts. So I could put up some speech bubbles or different stars and stuff. So maybe I'll put a quick speech bubble over here. And obviously, I would need it on the canvas if I was going to be printing it, but I'm not printing this one. So I'm just going to put this little speech bubble here by its mouth. And I could just type in here saying something, "Hi, my name is Google Bot." And there we go. And again, if you need something adjusted or moved or something, you can move as needed. There we go. Again, fill it in with color, whatever you like. It doesn't matter to me. Whatever is best for you. And make that a little bit thicker. Stand out. There we go. There's Google Bot. So that's pretty cool. Again, these tools should start coming to, you should start thinking about other features that you could use Google Drawing in. As you want to get more and more creative, you could add pictures, you could add all these little flowers, things like that as part of your assignment. You could put a frame around all this. If I wanted to, I could put a nice frame. Let's say if I wanted to, let's say maybe I'll make this frame, see if I can use this. I think I could use this one. Say if I put a frame around this image, there we go, and I can make it a little bit thinner, maybe something like that. There we go. I might need to make it even more. Maybe not, but what I could do with this now, I'm going to send this to the back. So I'm going to go up here to range, order, and I'm going to send it to the back. And there you go. So it looks like a picture frame. Kind of cool. Again, you could fill this in with what color it might be or something to that extent. You can, do whatever is needed. There's a lot of really creative features that you could get into with some of this drawing here. Again, I think a lot of your students might like some of these features to be a little bit more creative, especially if they don't want to write something. Maybe they just want to draw out some type of flow chart of how to do something. This is a nice, easy tool to use, and it's free. It's Google Draw. So just as a quick recap, we obviously have our shapes. We obviously have our right click for backgrounds. We know our copy is Control C, paste is Control V as in victory. We have our text boxes, we have our callouts, we have our different lines, we have the curve, and we have our other features here that will allow us to get very creative. So hopefully this helps out, but if you have any questions, please let me know, and best of luck and enjoy the assignment.